Hello learners, welcome to all in Study Online. In my previous video of class 9, I uploaded the part 1 of the sound of the music, which is the second chapter of Beehive. And in this video, I'm going to upload the part 2 of the sound of the music that is associated with the Sehnai of Bismillah Khan. You all must be familiar with Bismillah Khan. He is a prominent uh, Sehnai player of India. So without further delay, let me introduce you with this part of the chapter. So learners, this part of the chapter is associated with Ustad Bismillah Khan. He was a renowned Sehnai player in India. He is a legend because he did something which has a historical significance. He played the Sehnai on the day India got freedom. Were you aware of this fact about him? Yes, dear student, he played Sehnai on the day when India got freedom. It means on 15th August 1947. At the Red Fort, before the Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, gave his speech. Before that, Bismillah Khan played the Sehnai in order to signify something auspicious. Something auspicious for the whole country was about to happen. India was about to get freedom, and so on that occasion, Bismillah Khan played the Sehnai, and so he is a legend. Now, let me start the explanation of the paragraph. Yes, Emperor Aurangzeb. Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of a musical instrument called pungi in the royal residence, for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. Pungi was a musical instrument, the predecessor of the Sehnai. When the Mughals ruled in India, before the Britishers came in India, you know that there was the Mughal rule in India. There was a very famous Mughal ruler named Aurangzeb. Many of you must be aware of him. You would have read about. Okay, so what Aurangzeb did, he did not allow the pungi to be played in his royal residence because he felt that it had a shrill means unpleasant sound. So he did not allow to, to be played this instrument in his royal palace. Okay, let's proceed. Pungi became the generic name for reeded noisemakers. Few had thought that it would one day be revived. Now, any musical instrument which is made with reeds, like we have flutes, clarinets, they all are classified as pungi. So pungi is a broad term for any type of instrument which uses wind to produce sound. As Aurangzeb has banned all these reeded noisemakers, he had banned pungi in his royal residence, in his royal palace. No one thought that one day such a noisemakers, such instrument which made unpleasant sound would be played and their sound would be liked by the audience. No one thought at that time. What happened? A barber of a family of professional musicians who had access to the royal palace decided to improve the tonal quality of the pungi. So what happened after that? As the pungi had an unpleasant sound, there was a barber. You know, barber means nai. who belonged to a family of professional musicians. So that barber belongs to the family of a professional musician. And what he did, he wanted to play the pungi, but he knew that the sound produced by pungi was unpleasant, and so he decided to improve that sound. As he knew that the emperor Aurangzeb had banned it due to its unpleasant sound, so he thought to improve the quality of the sound played by this instrument. He chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem that was longer and broader than the pungi and made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. So, what that barber did, yes, what that barber did, um, he took a pipe which was a hollow stem, which had a hollow stem, जिसमें बीच में क्या था, खाली जगह थी पाइप जैसे. इट वॉज लॉन्गर एंड ब्रॉडर दैन द पुंगी. और ये जो पाइप था वो पुंगी के कंपेयर में थोड़ा चौड़ा था एंड बड़ा भी. यस, तो ये जो पाइप था ये एक पुंगी की कंपेयर में, जो पुंगी पहले प्ले की जाती थी उसके कंपेयर में थोड़ा ब्रॉड भी होता था और लॉन्ग भी होता था. He made 7 holes on the body of that pipe. So what that barber did, he made 7 holes on the body of that pipe. If you have seen a flute, have you seen it flute? बांसुरी देखा है आप लोगों ने? It is something like this only. Yes, and it is a pipe which is hollow from inside and has holes on it. Yes. So he chose, and that was longer and broader than the pungi, and made 7 holes. Yes, when he played on it, closing and opening some of these holes, soft and melodious sounds were produced. Then he blew air into the pipe and closed and opened different holes. He found that soft and melodious sound were produced when he did like this. So what that barber did, he used to play, as I told you, he made 7 holes in that pipe. Uh, when he used to close some of the holes and let some of the holes open, and used to blow air in through that from one corner of that pipe, then it used to make nice sound. And this is how he invented this instrument. When the barber played this instrument in the royal court, everyone liked the sound produced by it. So what that barber did, yes, a student, he played the instrument before royalty and everyone was impressed. The instrument, so different from the pungi, had to be given a name. Now this instrument had to be given a proper name. So the royal court thought that this instrument was different from the pungi, and so it should have a different name also. When that barber played this instrument in the royal court, then the people in the royal court decided to give it a different name, as it was a little bit different from pungi. Yes. As the story goes on, since it was first played in the Shah's chamber and was played by a nai, the instrument was named the Sehnai. Okay, so this is how it got its name. Now there is a story behind the name given to this instrument. This instrument was played for the first time in the royal residence of Shah. Shah was a name given to kings. Mughal called the king as Shah. So as it was played by a nai, barber nai. That is the Indian term for used for a barber, had played it for the first time. They called it Sehnai. This is how it got its name. So the first part is Sa, which stands for Sa, and second part is Nai, that is associated with barber. So this instrument named as Sehnai. The sound of Sehnai began to be considered auspicious. Now, the sound which was produced by Sehnai was considered to be very good omen. Omen means इसको एक शुभ संकेत माना जाने लगा. एंड सो इट वॉज प्लेड बाई गुड ओकेजन. इसलिए ये सभी तरीके के अच्छे ओकेजन्स पर प्ले किए जाने लगा. एंड फॉर दिस रीज़न इट इज़ still played in temples and is an indispensable component of any North Indian wedding. And this is how you can dispensable means that cannot be separated, that can not be separated. Yes. Now the Sehnai was a part of Naubat is a Urdu word and it means traditional ensemble. Ensemble means group. That means a traditional group of 9 musical instruments. These 9 musical instruments were played at the royal court and Sehnai was also a part of Naubat. So 9 musical instruments player used to play during Naubat and Sehnai was one of the part of this all this musical instrument. And this instrument became a very important part of all the important occasion in North Indian wedding also. In the past, the Sehnai was part of Naubat, a traditional ensemble of 9 instruments found at royal courts, as I told you. Till recently, it was used only in temples and wedding. The credit for bringing this instrument onto the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. So, as I told you earlier, it was a part of Naubat, but how it became so popular, let me tell you that Sehnai was played at the king's court, in temples and at wedding. I earlier told you it was used on stage in performances, and the credit for that goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan, who was a legendary Sehnai player, and people wanted to hear him play the Sehnai. As a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played Gilli Danda near a pond in the ancient state of Dumrao in Bihar. He would regularly go to the nearby Biharji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita, at the end of which he would earn a big laddu weighing 1.25 kg. It means 1 kg and 250 grams, a prize given by the local Maharaja. Such a big laddu it used to be. Now let me explain it. Yes. Your Ustad Bismillah Khan is associated with which state? He is associated with Bihar. Okay. Yes. Yes. When Bismillah Khan was 5-year-old, he lived in an old state named Dumra, which is present in Bihar state nowadays. So he used to play Gilli Danda, an old sport quite familiar to cricket. Okay. Now, also he would go to the nearby Biharji temple. Although Bismillah Khan was a Muslim, he would go to the temple and would sing this song, Chat. You know, it is a Bhojpuri language songs. Bhojpuri language is spoken in an area of Bihar. When he when he would finish reciting the songs, he would get a big laddu as a reward, and the weight of that laddu would be 1 kilogram and 250 grams. So this was the prize given to Bismillah Khan by the local Maharaja for singing the chat, and that is why he used to go there daily. Now, this happened 80 years ago, and the little boy has traveled far to earn the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. Now, how did he became so popular? Let me tell you that the writer says that this incident occurred when Bismillah Khan was 5 years old, that he would get this laddu as a reward, and after 8 years, Bismillah Khan earned the highest civilian award in India, that is Bharat Ratna. So this is the distance that he has traveled in his life. At 5 years of age, he would get a 1.25 kg laddu as a reward, and at 80, he achieves the highest civilian award in India, that is Bharat Ratna. Now, born on 21st March 1916, Bismillah belongs to a well-known family of musicians from Bihar. Now, let me tell you a brief account of Bismillah Khan. He was born on 21st March 1916 in a family of musicians in Bihar. The lineage of his father's sides was full of great Sehnai players. So, his family, let me tell you, yes, his grandfather Rasool Bux Khan was the Sehnai Nawaz of Bhojpur King's court. His father, Paigambar Bux, and also another paternal ancestor were also great Sehnai player. So you can see that the family of his father's side's family was associated with Sehnai instrument already. So he had got from his lineage in his patronage already. We can say that Bismillah Khanji acquired the skill of playing the Sehnai from his ancestors. His grandfather was a great Sehnai player. He played the Sehnai in the court of the Bhojpur king. His father and all paternal ancestors were also great Sehnai player. So from there only he got this talent. The young boy took to music early in his life. At the age of 3, when his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house in Banaras, now it is known as Varanasi. So, what Bismillah Khan was fascinated watching his uncles practice the Sehnai. So, when his mother took him to his maternal house, what he used to do, when Bismillah Khan was just 3 years old, his mother took him to his parents' house. It means to his maternal uncle's house, and his maternal uncle, उनके मामा जी, okay, what he used to do, he used to live in Varanasi, and when Bismillah Khan saw his maternal uncles play the Shehnai, he was so attracted towards him, and he also wanted to learn playing it. Soon Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Bux to the Vishnu temple of Banaras, where Bux was employed to play the Sehnai. Now, you know, although they belong from a Muslim family, but his maternal uncle, उनके मामा जी जो थे, he used to play Sehnai in Vishnu temple of Varanasi. So later, when Bismillah Khan started playing this instrument, so he also used to accompany, he also used to go to Vishnu temple along with his uncle, and used to play Sehnai in that temple. Now, Ali Bux would play the Sehnai, and Bismillah would sit captivated for hours on end. So what used to happen, that For many years, Ustad Bismillah Khan remained in Varanasi, and he would visit the temple of Balaji, temple of Managala Maya, Mangala Maya, and would remain on the bank of the river Ganga, where he would practice playing the Sehnai all by himself. So this is how, yes, slowly started getting lessons in playing the instrument and would sit practicing throughout the day. For years he come to the temple of Balaji, yes, Mangal Maya. Yeah, this is Mangal Maya, and the banks of the Ganga became the young apprentice favorite haunts where he could practice in solitude. Now, what is the meaning of the word apprentice? Means Nausikhiya. So, for Bismillah Khan, the banks of Ganga became a place where he could practice playing Sehnai in solitude alone. Okay. Now, the flowing waters, the flowing water of the Ganga inspired him to improvise and invent rags that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of Sehnai. Now, let me tell you that here we come to know about the talent of Ustad Bismillah Khan. He was so inspired and motivated by the river Ganga, as it provoked, it incited him to improve his performances, and he also invented many rags that were considered impossible to be produced by a Sehnai player. But Ustad Bismillah Khan worked so hard and invented different sounds with the Sehnai. At the age of 14, Bismillah accompanied his uncle to the Allahabad Music Conference. At the end of his recital, Ustad Fayaz Khan patted the young boy's back and said, "Work hard and you shall make it." So, what happened once when he was 14-year-old, he went along with his maternal uncle in Allahabad Music Conference, and when the recital of Sehnai ended there in that conference, the famous Ustad of Sehnai, whose name was Fayaz Khan, he patted him. उन्हें थपथपाया उनके पीठ पर, and what he said about Ustad Bismillah Khan, he said to him that if you work hard, you shall make it. You can be a very good player of Sehnai. And with the opening of All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938 came Bismillah Khan's big break. He soon became an often heard Sehnai player on radio. So what happened when in 1938 in Lucknow All India Radio was started? When it opened, it became a very big break for Bismillah Khan, as on this channel he could be heard many times. Okay, and so this is how, yes, I told you that with the opening of All India Radio in 1938, it gave Bismillah Khan a big break, and what he did, he soon became an often heard Sehnai player on radio, on All India Radio. And now when India gained independence on 15 August 1947, Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to greet means, what is the meaning of the greet? Welcome. To greet the nation with its Sehnai. So on 15th August 1947, he was the first person who welcomed the people of the country with his musical instrument Sehnai. Now what he did, he poured his heart out into Rag Kafi from the Red Fort to an audience which included Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who later gave his famous Triest with Destiny speech. Now, what happened? That at that time, when India got freedom, the rag that was played by Ustad Bismillah Khan on the occasion of independence of India was Rag Kafi. He played it from the Red Fort, and after his performance, even the Prime Minister of your country, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, gave his famous speech that you would have read at many places. That was a very famous speech, Triest with Destiny. Now, Bismillah Khan has given many memorable performances both in India and abroad. Bismillah Khan has given many performances not only in India but also in abroad. Some of them are memorable, like the one at Afghanistan, the King of Afghanistan. Let me tell you the example. His first, sorry, yes, his first performance both his first trip abroad was Afghanistan, where King Zahir Shah was taken in by the maestro that he gifted his priceless Persian carpet and other souvenirs. The King of Afghanistan was not only one to be fascinated with Bismillah Khan music. So, let me tell you one example when a person got so much in affected with the Bismillah Khan song. So, he was the king of Afghanistan, King Zahir Shah. He really liked Bismillah Khan's performance, and what he did, he gifted him many things which were made in Afghanistan, like Persian carpet, etc., so that Ustad Bismillah Khan would remember his first visit abroad, that was to Afghanistan. Now, the king of Afghanistan was not the only one to be fascinated by Bismillah's music. Film director Riza Bhatt was so impressed after hearing Bismillah Khan at the festival that he named a film after the instrument called Goos Uthi Sehnai. Yes, so there were many other people were were attracted to his Sehnai music. Goons Uthi Sehnai was a name of a Hindi movie. It was made by Vijay Bhatt. So he was a film director, and he really liked the sound of the Sehnai played by Bismillah Khan, and that is why he named his movie as Goos Uthi Sehnai. The The film was hit and one of Bismillah Khan compositions. Yes, let me tell you that this film became very hit. There was a song in a movie Goos Uthi Sehnai named Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya. So it was composed by Ustad Bismillah Khan and became a chart buster. It broke all records. It broke all records. You can see. Yes. So despite his huge success in the celluloid world, Bismillah Khan ventures in film music were limited to two: Vijay Bhatt's Goos Uthi Sehnai and Vikram Srinivas' Kannada venture Sanadhi Apna. Now, although this song was a chartbuster, Bismillah Khan got a lot of success in this film, but he composed music for only two films. The name of the movie was Goos Uthi Sehnai, made by Vijay Bhatt, and a Kannada movie made by Vikram Srinivas called Sanadhi Apna. So this is how we can I Sanadi Apanna, I told you. And I just can't come to terms with the artificiality and glamour of the film, he says with emphasis. So, what Bismillah Khan has to say about this, that why he Bismillah Khan got a lot of recognition and was honored with awards, but he just set it limited, as he has to say that he could not set himself to the artificiality and that the artificial world of the films and the glamour that used to be the part of film industry. That is why he did not compose music for many films. Awards and recognitions came thick and fast. Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to be invited to perform at the prestigious Lincoln Center Hall in the United States of America. Bismillah Khan got a lot of recognition and was honored with awards. Bismillah Khan ji performed all over the world. He performed in United States of America at the Lincoln Center Hall. He performed in Montreal, Australia in the World Exposition. He performed at the Cannes Art Festival, and he also performed at Japan at the Osaka Trade Fair. So, well known did he became internationally that an auditorium in Tehran was named after him. Tahir Mausiki Ustad Bismillah Khan. So he became so popular that Tehran is located in Iran. Okay, Bismillah Khan became so popular that all over the world that in Tehran an auditorium has been named after him. Okay, now national awards like Padam Shri, the Padam Bhushan and Padam Vibhushan were conferred on him. So now let's come to the awards that is conferred on him, that is associated with him. So he got many awards. Bismillah Khan has been awarded with these national awards, and these are Padam. Yes, these awards was he got the highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna, Padam Bhushan. When Ustad Bismillah Khan received highest civilian award, so what happened? Let me tell you. In 2001, Ustad Bismillah Khan was awarded India's highest civilian award, Bharat Ratna, and with the coveted award resting on his chest and his eyes glinting with rare happiness, he said, "All I would like to say is teach your children music. This is Hindustan's richest tradition. Even the West is now coming to learn our music." So what was his message when he got the Bharat Ratna award in 2001? His eyes were shining at the time when he got this award, and he said that he was very happy because his hard work and has been recognized, and he gave an important message to the country. He told all the Indians to teach music to their children because music is the richest tradition of India. He said that even the Western countries wanted to learn music. So although Ustad Bismillah Khan ji has traveled all over the world, let me explain the further text. In spite of having traveled all over the world, Khan Saab, he is known as he is known by this popular name Khan Saab, as he is fondly called, is extremely fond of Benares and Dumra, and they remain for him the most wonderful towns in the world. So let me tell you, although Ustad Bismillah Khan ji has traveled all over the world, he was given so much respect and recognition. He remained rooted with Banaras, where he learned music, and Dumra, where he was born and brought up, were the two most wonderful towns. These are the two most wonderful towns of the world for Ustad Bismillah Khan. He was so down to earth that although he had traveled all over the world, still he was attached to his birthplace. Still he was attached to his birthplace. Yes. What happened? One a student of his once wanted him to head a Sehnai school in USA, and the student promised to recreate the atmosphere of Banaras by replicating the temples there. But Khan Sahib asked him if he would be able to transport river Ganga as well. Later he is remembered to have said, "That is why whenever I am in a foreign country, I keep yearning to see Hindustan. While in Mumbai, I think of only Banaras and the holy Ganga, and while in Banaras, I miss the unique Matha of Dumrao." So, what he has to say, there was a student of Ustad Bismillah Khan. He belonged from USA, and he wanted that Ustad Bismillah Khan should set up a Sehnai school in USA. So, and he promised also that he would recreate the temple of Banaras in America for Ustadji, as he would miss it. Now Ustad Bismillah Khan was attached to river Ganga also, so he asked his student that would he transport the river Ganga also to America. So he wanted to say that he could not leave India. He was attached not only to the temples of Banaras but also to the holy Ganga. Ustad Bismillah Khan said that whenever he visited any foreign country, he longed to see India. He wanted to return to India. And then he says that when he was in India, in Mumbai, he yearned to visit Banaras. He wanted to visit Banaras and the Ganga river. And when he was in Banaras, he missed his birthplace, Dumrao, and the Matha, where he sang Chat and was rewarded with the laddu of 1.25 kg weight by Maharaj Ji. Now move to the further text. Ustad Bismillah Khan's life is perfect example of the rich cultural heritage of India. One that effortlessly accept that a devout Muslim like him can very naturally play the Sehnai every morning at the Kasi Viswanath temple. Here, the writer says that Ustad Bismillah Khan was a perfect example of the rich cultural heritage of India. His work was beyond the religious barrier. Although he was Muslim, yet he used to visit the Hindu religious god temples. Although he was a strict Muslim, he followed the Muslim laws, but every morning he would play the Sehnai at the Kasi Viswanath temple, which was a Hindu temple. This shows that he did not have the barriers of religion in his mind. He was a true Indian. He considered music to be India's richest cultural heritage. Yes, at the end I have to say Ustad Bismillah Khan passed away on 21st August 2006 at the age of 90 after a prolonged illness. He was given the state funeral at the government. So Ustad Bismillah Khan had been ill for a long time and he died on 21st August 2006 at the age of 90. The entire country mourned the death of the legendary musician. There was a holiday for one day and he was given a state funeral. This is how this. So learners, this is the end of the chapter, and at the end if I would like to say that if you have liked the video, kindly press the like button and subscribe the channel so that you can get the next videos that I upload on the channel. Thank you. Have a nice day.